Hello, literature lovers. Today, as you can see, I'm discussing literary terms, and I have discussed in my later on lectures also that earlier lectures, sorry, that literary terms are so important, and without this, you cannot understand literature. It is the part of the base, and I have discussed that base of literature revolves around two things, that is the literary terms, and secondly the history of English literature, because all these things revolve around each other and they are almost the another side of the same coin. So all these things not only helps you better understanding but gives you better specs to glasses to see things more clearly, and these literary terms which you are analyzing right now will give you most amount of pleasure, because literature is all about literary terms, as Alexander Pope once said that there is nothing new to express, it's just a way of saying it. So literature is all about expressing yourself in a better manner. So I agree with this thought. And for all better pleasure of the literature also, it is important that we should analyze it, measure it in right terms, and express ourselves so that we can calculate it with utmost clarity. And all these things are expressed here and which are part of it. And there are different genres related to it, poetry, and then there are meters, so it is not so simple to understand it also. You see, if we try to get all the things all together, or we start getting into the depth of things, so that will hurt. But if we try to get overall perspective, and then slowly and gradually we are talking about the depth of things, then only it will matter. That will make it more clearer and healthier to understand. So this is what literature is all about. So literary terms as a whole not only gives you pleasure, but it will help you in the soothing effect that literature is all about. I also believe that art is for art's sake, and for that art you should get in the whole crux of it. What's the use of reading a literary work when you are not understanding it, or you are not getting all the aspects related to it? So it is obviously important, and this is what matters as a whole. So I also believe this thought is important, and you should analyze each and every aspect of it in all the context related to it. So satire, as I have discussed earlier also, what is this and how we can talk about. There are short stories, so sometimes we are not even aware of what we are reading. So there is a whole difference between this thing, what is soliloquy or what is monologue. Whenever I start teaching students, most of them ask themselves, "Sir, what is this? What is that? And is there some major difference?" So I always explain them that don't think that you can understand each and everything all of a sudden. You have to analyze it, practice it, and until and unless you get the right examples, also you can't get it. So both of them are important. Alliteration and things like that will come and go, but all other things that are more complex will be understood by them in a gradual process. It is a gradual process, and then only you can get the depth of it. So this is also very important. Another thing that matters is most of my students always ask me that how we can learn things. So since there is a whole ocean of literary terms and all of them related to each other and have complex definitions, and I always suggest that it's difficult to understand or grab one at a time. So try to interconnect each of them. Since it is part of that, it is not like an ocean. Actually, it is like a web, spider web. That's my way of thinking. You have your own, and I cannot express your thoughts, obviously. So it is an ocean, it is an spider web, it is a, and all are interrelated to each other. So if you try to connect all the dots, then you can not only understand it in a better way, but you can also, analyze it and remember them in a more logical and clearer perspective. So, since we all know what satire is, but what are the examples of satire, then we can understand what type of satire it is. So, all these things are connected right now. Now, talking about irony, then which type of irony it is. First, try to understand irony, then get an example like which type of irony it is. Metaphors are also different types, as you can see. I'm right now talking about what I am looking at, and you are looking at it. So we can talk about them, metaphors and all them. Then we can talk about the examples, which work and which quote is from which book, and which book was written by whom. So all these things are interconnected. You can connect, and it is also depending upon the personal perspective also. Since sometimes I like that book, so that's why I am more connected with satire. So since I like satire, and all of a sudden I started thinking about satirical works which are most famous. It may be a point that you like romantic literature, then you may connect with romance and all the works related to romance, and then you will try to recognize all the literary devices related to romantic works. So it depends upon your perspective also. It doesn't matter. There is not a copybook method of doing something. There's always a process, and with the time period and gradual change, you get it. You understand it with that time period only. So you should not worry. Most of my friends started worrying why I cannot learn. I'm not bright enough. What is the problem? So you should not worry about it. You know, the thing is that we should enjoy what we are doing. We should do it with our full concentration and with our utmost sincerity. That what matters. That is the thing. And doesn't matter whether you get it or not. You should have your 100%. That's what matters, or at last. So that is the thing, and you will gradually get. Don't worry. And if you are with someone who is rated with it and who really talks about it and think like you and who really understand you and will help you in all these things, and you can start with simple things. For example, you can see right now simile is there, so it's so simple. Style is there, symbols are there, so they are simple. And now symbols, when they start moving, they will become allegory. So it is so simple, you can get it easily. no that is the thing, you can understand easily. And all these terms are important, and don't think that they are enough. There are numerous amount of terms. So you keep practicing, keep working hard. Thanks.